everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to the very first DCU update of 2022. If you're new to my channel, let me just say welcome. It's a pleasure to have you, and I have to say to all of you returning, we're definitely going to be in for a very interesting ride in 2022, because even though I know there is a lot of stuff that is being offered in regards to direct-to-Blu-ray movies, we have got a little bit from the DC Original Library as well as the DC Universe Library, not to mention some animated shows like Season 4 of Young Justice, known as Young Justice Phantoms, as well as the highly anticipated Harley Quinn Season 3, as well as a brand new Batman animated series coming out eventually. But the only thing that I don't know is exactly what I'm going to be bringing you, because I don't know where some of these films fall within their libraries, and I just have to wait for them to get released on home video. So just expect a lot of DC animated content, as well as if you're watching my other channel, That's Comical, some good DC animated live shows on the way featuring my friend Cammy and maybe some special guests as well. So the first movie in 2022 that we were offered was Catwoman Hunted. A movie that I really didn't know what to think about, just because out of everything that DC could have possibly offered, you go with Catwoman, and especially after a massive flop like Injustice, was this actually going to even be a good movie? Now, the one thing that was very interesting was this is the first film since Batman Ninja to feature anime style in terms of animation, so seeing the trailer, it got me a little excited because it looked like it was just going to be fun. But truthfully, this was definitely the most fun that I have had with a DC animated film in a while. This movie was exactly what it needed to be at the right moment. You definitely enjoy the caper, you enjoy the characters, you definitely have a very interesting and versatile voice cast, including Elizabeth Giles as Catwoman and Brooklyn Nine-Nine Stephanie Beatrice as Batwoman. I'm actually very happy that we got Batwoman and not necessarily Batman, even though Batman is mentioned. But we also get a very interesting group of well-known and sometimes not so well-known DC villains. So in this film, Catwoman starts off her little caper in Spain, where she is trying to steal a jewel from a very lethal criminal organization called Leviathan. Now, in case you don't know who Catwoman is, she's an anti-hero. She's not necessarily good or bad, but one of the few things is, even though she does break the law, she does have her own righteous agendas in regards to what she does. And she is trying to steal this specific emerald to try and put a stop to human trafficking, especially considering the fact that it involves some people that she knows and truly loves. So basically, she infiltrates and she goes up against Barbara Minerva, who is also known as Cheetah, who is the head of the operation, Tobias Whale, and Black Mask, just to name a few. But believe me, you get a lot of other additional surprises. And basically, Catwoman ends up in over her head and gets more than she bargained for, but she still keeps her calm and composure and believes that she's going to still manage to achieve her goal regardless, especially considering the fact that she does have her trusty sidekick Isis with her. I love the fact that they went back to Batman the Animated Series to give us this adorable cat of Catwoman's, and the best part is, in this style of animation, oh my god, you will look like an anime character yourself with your eyes like blown up 10 times because you are just in awe of the undescribable cuteness that Isis is, not to mention the great banter that actually happens between Selina and Isis. It's absolutely adorable. If there was anything that I could say that was not so great about this movie, well, I don't think that this movie is terrible. I definitely know that it is far from perfect. It's still very much enjoyable, but the one thing that did sort of set me off was, even though we had a great voice cast, there were a few of the voices that were chosen that really didn't seem to fit the character. They seemed a little off to me. One of them was unfortunately Stephanie Beatrice as Batwoman. Now, I love her as Detective Rosa Diaz, and of course I love her as Mirabelle in Encanto, but her voice just didn't seem to match the character, and the personality definitely fell a little flat. Also, the fact that Jonathan Frakes, yes, the Jonathan Frakes, #1, William Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation, voices King Faraday, it just didn't seem to work for me. And also, as interesting as it was to give us these characters in anime style, the voice just, the lip dubbing, that's really what it was. The lip movements looked so weird, and even when you watch traditional anime, even though you are watching dubbed versions or if you are watching subbed versions, sometimes there seems to be a lot more sync when it comes to voices, even if they're dubbed, but in this one, definitely not so much. But the true hero in this movie is the soundtrack. Oh my goodness, the soundtrack moves this story. It feels very Cowboy Bebop, very jazzy. It's smooth, and it's fun, and it's fast, and it's just, oh, it's fantastic. As a music appreciator, you will definitely appreciate that film soundtrack. But overall, I did also have a very good time with it, especially considering the fact that this also may be one of the shortest DC animated films. This movie is just a little under an hour and a half, and they really managed to pack exactly what the story is supposed to be into that time frame without any places for gaps, or which would make it feel like it didn't make much sense. There's also a couple of nice little hat tips to some other DC characters that they talk about. I actually got a little bit surprised when certain ones were thrown out there, but I really did appreciate the fact that they also wanted to make us remember that Selina is very much in a much larger DC world. So yeah, Catwoman Hunted is a fun movie, and I highly recommend it. I think you will just have a good time with it. So that's it, everybody. Just leave your comments in the box below. Let's have a discussion about Catwoman Hunted, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.